Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Outcomes Rocket. We're here live at Device Talks Boston at this incredible conference talking to the leaders that are tip of the spear in MedTech innovation, regulation, legal, all of the above. Today, we have the privilege of hosting Suzanne Levy Friedman. She is a partner at Honigman, and I'm so excited to have you here, Suzanne.
Thanks. It's great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes, you're doing the sessions, and then you get a chance to go to the reception and meet folks, and we had a chance to meet you there.
Yeah.
And during our conversations, we're like, wow, we got to get Suzanne on the podcast. She's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give you a chance to tell our audience a little bit more about yourself and Honigman.
Sure. Thank you. So I've been in the MedTech space for about 12 years now, ever since I finished law school. Before that, I was doing some kind of healthcare consulting, but I've been a lawyer for about 12 years now, and I always had a passion for healthcare. And so that's sort of, initially I did the pre-med route that everyone does, and then organic chemistry got me out of that.
It weeded you out? Yeah, it weeds a lot of people out.
But I was still really passionate about helping patients and seeing what I could do. And I also happened to be good at writing and liking that area. I sort of gravitated into consulting, law, that kind of space. And I realized that there's this whole field of law that is related to FDA regulation. I was like, this is really cool. I get to help people figure out how to bring products to market that are going to help patients. And I get to do it while problem solving and writing and strategizing. So that's where I ended up.
It was like a perfect fit.
Yeah, it worked out really well. It took me a pretty roundabout path to get there.
Yeah.
So now what I do is I serve as companies' regulatory counsel. And so I help them navigate the complex and ever-changing FDA pathway for medical devices and digital health. So basically everything from, am I even regulated by FDA? And then, there's sort of two camps there now with all the wellness and clinical decision support. So there's the companies that know they're regulated and that need help getting through that pathway. And then there's the companies that either don't know or know that they don't want to be regulated, right?
Okay.
They want to stay in the wellness camp. They want to stay in digital health, like enforcement discretion or non-device camp. And so for those companies, I actually am still helpful to them because I help them figure out where exactly is the line in relation to your product. And that changes every year or so these days, right? And then I help them get through the approval process with the submissions. And then on the back end, I do the marketing work, the commercialization work. And then when they do get in trouble, which does happen, I help them figure out how to fix it.
That's great. Really just was guardrails to stay where you want to stay if you want to stay out of the regulated path. Or if you're in a regulated path, the guardrails to keep you on track.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those really difficult challenges. And as you've been in this field for the last 12 years, in regards to MedTech, what are you seeing as one of the biggest shifts in the business right now?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things I would highlight. I'm sure you won't be very surprised. One is the advent of AI and just software more generally in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Not everything, but many, many products now, much more than when I started, right? AI is not actually new, but it is now being incorporated almost everywhere. And industry is, as has been discussed at this conference, innovating faster than the regulator can handle.
Yeah.
Or not can handle, but they have different considerations.
Right.
And I'm seeing this tension build up between industry and FDA. And it's not a malicious tension, but it's just industry wants to move faster and FDA has this mandate to protect the public health. And I tell my clients sometimes when they get frustrated, sometimes they're correct to be frustrated because the demand seems irrelevant or unreasonable or whatever. It usually has some reasoning, but they may not see it. Other times, though, I say FDA is right here. You actually haven't thought about this. Think about the fact that they are the last kind of guardrail before this gets to any number of patients. And if you don't think about how to mitigate this particular risk, people could get hurt.
Right,
and that's
right.
what they're there for, right? Mm-hmm. And so I have immense respect for FDA, even when we get into situations where it's complicated.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a good call. And there is a tension, but the regulations are there for a reason.
Yeah.
So what's working well here for your firm heading into the second half of the year?
Yeah, so I guess it's a good opportunity to just briefly introduce Honigman. So we are a full-service law firm, and I recently joined from Big Law. And so it's a smaller firm, but still not small, headquartered in Detroit. And I have the privilege of working with some really entrepreneurial colleagues. I'm the only person there right now who focuses on FDA, but we are building in the life sciences space. And so I have colleagues who do IP, who do trade, which intersects with me sometimes, investigations, corporate M&A. So I've had the chance to do a lot of deal support. We've seen a lot of really exciting deals on the healthcare, life sciences, MedTech side.
Cool.
This half of the year.
That's really great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And exciting that you guys are growing in this very important field. As you think about the year unfolding, you're here at Device Talks. What's a big bet that you guys are making here going into the new year?
I think I'm just really excited to see all of the new technologies that are going to come. And I'm also getting very excited. Actually, one other thing that I forgot to mention earlier is FDA has been coming out with a lot more practical guidance on different areas. And I'm finding ways to help clients operationalize the regulatory requirements sooner. Yeah. And so it's not that the requirements are getting less, but they are being much more real world about it, I'm finding. And so in different areas, like they just issued this morning a final guidance on human factors materials for marketing submissions, which there was a draft before, but it's finalized and put a stamp on what it said and made a few tweaks. And then about a year ago, they issued a final guidance on manufacturer dissemination of off-label information, basically how they can truthfully disseminate scientific information about off-label uses, which is huge, actually, in the marketing space, because it gives manufacturers actually some leniency to talk truthfully about their devices in circumscribed contexts, right? And it was a big deal when it came out. It was a big deal because it changed the draft guidance, but also because it really helped set a framework or a way for a manufacturer to set a framework. And so I've been very actively talking to my clients about that space, not to encourage them to do anything off-label that is not allowed, but to help them understand, again, where that line is that we talked about.
And where the line is. And what's your read on that? So these guidance documents are coming out, but they're still, how are they doing that? Like, if there's chokeholds on the process, how are they coming out with these? Maybe that's the fix.
It's a fair question. I think it's a little bit of different people are doing different things, right? Yeah. But also, I think that FDA has set a list of priorities. These are the areas where they want to focus on, and those are the ones that get, even when the resources get limited, those are where they kind of focus. And so, for example, human factors has been a really big issue these days lately, and it's something that has been challenging and the kinks have been being worked out as people have gotten more in line and as FDA has set more kind of clear guidelines and reviewers across the center have learned what is appropriate and what is not appropriate.
Interesting. Wow. Folks, that's why we do these conversations because there's so many things that you don't know that are happening here. And we bring in experts like Suzanne to talk to us about regulatory in this case. Maybe you didn't know that those guidance materials are there. If people wanted to learn more, and I'm sure that's tip of the iceberg here, about this space, how can they reach out to you and Honigman?
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on LinkedIn. My email is sfriedman@honigman.com. And I'd love to just chat with you, hear about your business. I love being involved in sort of the intersections of regulatory and clinical and strategy and product development. That's kind of why I do what I do. So it's good to talk to someone, not necessarily me, who has regulatory expertise early on, because it helps you streamline the whole pathway.
Totally. You got to get that right up front because, and I'll put my marketing hat on for a second, when you start commercializing and you decide to pivot, it's not that easy.
No.
Your regulatory's got to match what you're putting out there. I love what Susan has laid out here for us. Share this episode with a friend if it resonated. They might be going through some things, and the whole point of this is to spread the word and to help move the industry forward. Thank y'all for tuning in, and Suzanne, thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.